Kee Lock, childhood is something that successful people sometimes don't talk a lot about. Yeah, so I want to actually go there because I want to know better about you, because I think that childhood has been something that definitely shaped you into someone you are today. Would you like to share a little bit about your childhood?
Well, I guess growing up, one of the things I always remember is the Sunday with my father. Just as a background, my father and my uncle came from this small island called Jingmen, or in English called Golden Gate or Golden Doors. It's a small little island off Taiwan. And they came to Singapore in the 50s, wanting to build a better life for themselves. And then, of course, my father married my mother and gave birth to three of my older sisters, myself, and my younger brother. And as a businessman, and in those days, they essentially work what is known as 996, starting from 9 a.m. in the morning, work until 9 p.m. every day for 6 days a week. And the only rest day is Sunday. And for Sunday, even though rest day, as a businessman, they always worry about their business. So after wake up in Sunday, we will have a brunch or lunch, and then early lunch. And after lunch, my three older sisters, of course, they had their own activities. And my younger brother and myself will follow my father and my mother. And my mother will bring my younger brother to go and visit my aunties and spend time with them. And I, being the oldest son, end up with my father. And then he will brought me to his office. In those days, was in the Carpenter Street. Today, all these buildings are conservation houses. And essentially, the businessman, essentially the arrangement is that the most senior guys is sitting inside the building, and the tables and after tables lying up in front of them. And right in front at the doorsteps, there will be samples of product, because they're in trading business, commodity trading business. There are samples of corn, samples of green beans or whatever, or rice that they were selling. They will be all outside there. And then even Sunday afternoon, you will be seeing people either walk in or people making appointments to come in to have a discussion. And then I was a young boy at the time, would be sitting on this table at the end of the room, writing or reading or whatever I was doing, and watching him talking to people in front at the entrance, sometimes 30 minutes, sometimes 45 minutes, and discussing whatever matters of interest. And at the end of it is the interesting part. He will then, after finishing that discussion or conversation with the people that he spoke to, I will see him standing most of the time in front of his table, giving a summary of his discussion with the people he just met, and ultimately boils down to assessing the situation. He'll be describing to his staff or his colleagues that what was the discussion, and his assessment of the person that he just met. Be it his reading of his body language or his reading of situation. He'll be giving a conclusion why he thinks this is for real or this is just a bunch of waste of time, and what sort of the learning for me is that it's about reading people and assessing the situation, and there's something still very important today for every time with whatever.
Now I know why you're so good at analyzing people. And I love to hear, how your father have actually been such a great teacher to his staff, spending the time to reassess the situation to them so they had to learn over time. And I realized that at Vertex, we often do that weekly at our Wednesday meetings as well. And I really enjoy all the learnings that our senior partners, so kindly share with us. And that is something we can't learn from reading books or just, going online to search about it. So this is really invaluable. And I'm still curious about, your family life, your private life, what you can share with us. Because I think, one of the most difficult thing about being someone who is high in a position will be, what is the hard truth, about balancing work and family?
I guess as you move out the hierarchy, the hardest things is that as an executive is not to bring your work back home, and you will have problems in the office, and quite often than not, it's very difficult for many of us, including myself, not to bring that part of the work home. So, and you can't help it. So in order for you not to create problem at home, you need to have understanding spouse and the wife who understand that, appreciate what you are going through, and then to be able to assess that you are going through a difficult day, not to be pound on it, making it harder. So I was fortunate that my wife actually, we were married for many years, that she understood, many of these things that sometimes I encountered. And then when I come home, she somehow is able to figure out that today must be a tough day. She discovered that, and she will be, trying to, bring out some lighter topics and, sometimes stories to tell me. So I sort of distract me from whatever I was, bothering me in the office, and so that helps. So I think as they always say, in front of every successful man, there's a very important person, which is the wife or the spouse at home. I think this is important. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. I hear of people who say compartmentalizing is a good tip, but do you agree with that? Do you have other secrets to share for balancing family and work well?
So I guess compartmentalization is important, but I don't think many of us can.
It's not foolproof.
It's not foolproof. I don't think most of us can do this well, and I don't think we are human. I mean, we are emotional, and we will let things affect you. And however we try not to do this, you still somehow will be affected. Your mood will be down. You'll be a bit less talkative. You'll be distracted with some of the things that you're trying to work on. So I think while you try to compartmentalize it, but I think it's never easy.
Yeah, when I see people who are able to, when they feel certain emotions, be able to hold it in, be able to channel that out later, I see that person being someone who has cultivated himself well. And it is not easy. It's all about, really a journey of personal growth. So, Kee Lock, just now you also mentioned about behind every successful person, there will be a supportive spouse. So, and these days, I think there's a lot of discussion about diversity, equality, and specifically for our Southeast Asian India Fund, we have quite a few female founders who've been back. So we have by now back at least nearly 20 female founders, right? So can I also understand from you, what do you think female founders need in terms of support so that they will be able to do well?
I guess the most important part of it is a lot of times for every successful founders, it's actually a mentor. I think fortunate or unfortunately, the men has a lot more pool of mentors available. So that naturally gives them a lot more better opportunities. So I think what is important for female founders is, especially those successful ones, is to make themselves available to help some of the younger emerging female founders, be helpful to them. Because they need the important coaching. Like what you mentioned, a lot of things we can't really learn from school. It's a lot of times the experience. It's important that when you have a problem, you are able to go to somebody, a mentor that you trust, that they're going to judge you. You are able to share what's troubling you, what is the things that you're trying to solve. And this mentor, he or she is able to say, okay, this is the problem. This is what I would have done. And may not necessarily be the correct answers, but at least you have somebody to talk through the points. So I think the reason why we've seen a lot more successful male founders so far is I think that network of mentorship has been one of the important factor. And I hope that over time, with more female founders are more successful, they are able to more actively helping some of the younger female founders or co-founders, that we will create a bigger pool of successful female entrepreneurs over time.
I think that you're probably right. And I see that our colleagues have been very active in terms of mentoring females. And it's also helped that there are quite a few female investors in our team as well, because I imagine that female founders will feel more relaxed, reaching out to someone of the same gender and who understand their communication style. Yeah, so I think that's important for female founders who are successful to come back and really help others to succeed. So I want to, before we end, I want to ask you, what is one quote that you love, that you want us to know?
Yeah, I think I may have shared with you that many years ago I was invited to give a commencement speech in National University of Singapore and US graduations. And at the end of my speech, I quoted this poet from French poet, Anatole France, who in one simple sentence sort of summarizes many things that we have been discussing today. And it goes something like this: to accomplish great things, you must not only act, but also dream. Not only plan, but also believe. So I think this summarizes everything that we're trying to do and are trying to achieve.